Hello, this is Mark Wildman of Wildman Athletica. Today we are going to talk about the double kettlebell clean to front squat. The double kettlebell clean to front squat is a merciless exercise for almost everybody. Almost every athlete and every non-athlete could and should improve their squat technique. The goal is to have your knees behind your toes and to have your spine as vertical as possible. Kettlebells force people into having better technique just by practicing exercises in a logical and progressive manner. Kettlebells are better for your basic movement patterns than almost anything else. If you do something like barbell lifting, you could definitely benefit from doing a good structured kettlebell program. Any sport you play will benefit from a kettlebell program. Kettlebells are cheap and they force you to line up and get better at your 6 fundamental things that you need to do. Your deadlift pattern, swing pattern, your clean pattern, getting a weight to shoulder height, single and double, your overhead press, your get up off of the ground, which is a Turkish get up, which is a bench press equivalent. It does not have the chest development of a bench press, but everything has its own things that it does well. The squat and the snatch. A snatch is where you do a clean and press, but skip the middle entirely to turn it into one smooth movement pattern. Start with your feet pointed generally straight ahead. With single kettlebell, you tend to keep your feet pointed as straight ahead as possible because your feet are only the width underneath your shoulder. A kettlebell is only 8 inches across. You don't need a massive wide stance with single kettlebell. With double kettlebell, depending on your height, your feet are going to turn out a little bit for some people. I like to maintain my feet pretty close to straight ahead, but I am fairly tall. People who are of smaller stature than me will probably start to turn their feet out a little bit. If you've done your single arm kettlebell training with your feet pointed straight ahead, you will have strong arches in your feet, and turning out here will not be a big deal. Feet point straight ahead, step back 12 to 18 inches from the kettlebell depending on frame size, thumbs point towards the sky. The easiest version for almost everybody is thumbs point down. That way, if something goes wrong in your double kettlebell clean, your elbows can bend and you don't snap your arm in half. If you do thumb up and something goes wrong because your position is not good, you can snap your elbows. Don't do that. Start with the easy version, and after you've done 10,000 reps, you can go to the thumb up version. Thumbs point down, grab the kettlebells in the corner of the bell. The L of your hand goes to the L of the kettlebell. Sit back, fire your lats, driving your shoulders away from your ear. Double kettlebell clean. Push the weights back, snap up. The important part is to not crush your hands. Thumbs are at shoulder height, elbows as close together as possible. We do not want bent wrists and our elbows out if we can help it. That is a different technique for different types of lifting. With kettlebells, elbows will track inside the knees. Keeping your spine as vertical as possible, get down, down, down. Elbows track inside the knees so you can drive your knees out and lift your chest up. Stand straight up. Squeeze your glutes at the top. Make your legs as straight as possible. Clean. Thumbs point back. Keep the kettlebells close to your body. Get your fingers out of the way so you don't crush your hands. Get down. Drive your knees out. Lift your chest up. Stand all the way up. Squeeze your glutes. Straighten your legs. Thumbs back. You should be able to pause and hang out at the bottom. Being good at the bottom of a squat is a normal thing that you should be able to do. You should be able to hang out here and talk 5-10 minutes at a time. Stand up. Push the weights back to set them down. This exercise is generally difficult because of the depth of the squat. Even well-trained barbell athletes, if they're doing something like a low barbell back squat, will have a very different type of squat pattern. So cross-training with something like this changes where the weight is. That changes how your core fires. It changes the joint angle on your ankles, knees, hips, spine. In order to practice something like the double kettlebell clean to front squat, you should start with a two-handed swing program for like 3 years. You can alternate that program with a hand-to-hand swing program. Go to a single arm clean and press program to help correct imbalances on either side of your body. Go to a Turkish Get-Up program where you break a Turkish Get-Up down into all their fundamental movement pieces. Then from there, you could either go single arm snatch program or you can go into a double kettlebell program. Start with the double kettlebell swing, move to the double kettlebell clean, move to outside kettlebell swings. Work on your double kettlebell front squat on its own and then build into combination movements. This is almost exactly the same idea that you will see in Olympic lifting. You practice your clean, dead clean, hang clean. For kettlebells, it is swing clean, squats, overhead presses, and then all the combinations of those things. You should do all types of training. This exercise allows people to get a greater range of movement, loaded stretching essentially, with weight. It is an easy way to improve your squat dynamics. If you improve your squat dynamics, you improve your hip mobility, you improve your spinal alignment, you improve your core firing. There is no way out of this exercise. The lower you get, the more vertical your spine becomes, the better it is. I've had 3 major knee surgeries. If you do not have an equivalent number of knee surgeries, you should eventually be lower than me. Go with lighter weights in the beginning and focus on your squat depth and making your spine more and more vertical. It is different than every other type of squat that you're gonna do in almost every other type of training. It is different from barbells, it is different from heavy clubs. It is closest to an Atlas stone squat, but there is no way out for your core. This exercise will 100% improve your core strength in the most important pattern, standing up.